What's going on? Matt Malatesta here. Michael Brockers, the original VYPE, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Very
sir.
first cover boy on VYPE way back. I can't even remember how long ago that was, but many moons ago.
Yes.
What a career. What a life, dude.
It happened fast.
It happened fast. From Chavez High School, you are the Mount Rushmore of Chavez High School.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure that anybody else has come out of there, but I don't know. What was it like going there, being the big man on campus there?
It was crazy situation. So I'm gonna just backtrack a little bit. So I didn't play really any football before I got to Milby. I went to Milby.
Okay. Yeah.
My first semester, played varsity. Didn't play a lick of football. So that was like my first introduction into organized football. Then, coach leaves, goes to Chavez. Mom is like, hey, this coach got you in the Milby. He'll get you in the Chavez. You're going to Chavez. So I transferred to Chavez. I was playing on varsity at Milby. Now I'm playing JV at Chavez.
So you did the transfer.
Yeah, I did the transfer,
right.
where you have to sit out a year or whatever. So I'm playing JV, and I'm starting to find myself.
Yeah.
I'm starting to find the confidence. I'm starting to feel good about where I'm at in my, stage of my career, in high school. And I was just dominating. That blew my confidence out the water. Going from varsity to JV and feeling like I shouldn't be out here with you. So I'm mad that I'm out here with you, so I'm going to just destroy you because I'm mad. I'm pissed
Love
off,
that.
So, but, at that time, I didn't know I was the big man on campus. I was just the guy wanting to go to LSU. That was it. I wanted LSU to recruit me.
Right.
I was at Chavez. They finally did. And I was like, okay, I'm taking it and nothing else.
So how on earth were you not playing football in the 6th, 7th, 5th grade? What were you doing?
Man, I had a protective mom like everybody else, man. My mom was really protective. She was, she seen football and was like, I don't know, you might get hurt, you might get injured, a little expensive. So, mom just waited till, I was able to play for the school in high school. And, the rest is history.
Did you play any other sports? What would have been your backup?
Little basketball. That's it.
Dude, if I was 6'6", man. But there's so many 6'6" people in the NBA.
Yes.
Not in the NFL.
Right. You have to realize in the NBA, like guys are 6'8", they're 7 foot. So 6'6", you have to use it, handles. I had no handles in high school at all. So I knew where my game was. It was on the football field.
So, okay, you're playing there. The head coach was?
Mike Jackson, sorry.
Chavez was not known for football.
No.
I mean, literally, this is the first time that college coaches are coming to that school.
Yes.
What was kind of the coolest, entree? Like, hey, oh my gosh, Nick Saban's here, or Les Miles is here. What was that like?
That was crazy. I don't think a lot of kids understood who was there.
Yeah.
When he walked in the building, he sat down with me, ate at the school. I was like, this is crazy. But all the other kids, they were just walking about. They didn't realize, like, the head coach of the LSU Tigers is in the school, So I was befuddled. Like, I was just like, man, this is crazy. This is the best day of my life. Like, he's at the school. Nobody else, nobody even
Nobody's
realized.
coming through there.
Yeah, nobody even realized.
So, all right. But what was your job in high school?
Mm-hmm. What job? Like, as far as what?
Did you... When we shot this cover, I had an intern can't pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
He said that you were like, he sees this guy coming out of Hobby Airport.
Yes.
This massive dude coming out of Hobby Airport working for like Southwest Airlines or something.
Yes, that was my best job actually. I was a shake guy. I was a shake boy at Papa's Burgers.
Oh,
they made up a position. I think they made it up. I think I was very likable. I told the guy my story going to LSU. He was like, man, I'll see what I can do.
Right.
They had shakes or desserts on the menu. He was like, you know what? You're my new shake guy. So I was a shake guy, made shakes. I took out trash. I kind of did everything, but I was just a part of the team.
But that's really, I mean, it is cool because you're going from being like a 5-star football player to working at Hobby Airport to, going to play for one of the biggest schools that had just won a national championship. What was the transition like from high school to college? Was
Man,
it hard?
It was tough. It was tough going from inner city Houston school, you
Yep.
know, to SEC big time college football.
Right.
It was eye opening because I didn't know truly how much it took to be great or to make it through. Like, just to be honest, like 1% of the 1% of the 1% gets to the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm in here and I'm surrounded by 5 stars. You know,
Dude.
so it's hard not to get overwhelmed and feel
Yeah.
like I don't know how I'm gonna play. You know, so I just stuck to my guns. I'm a hard worker. I'm not a quitter. There were moments where I wanted to quit. You know, you waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, doing drills, doing, you know, whatever the coach wants you to.
It's a job. It's a job.
It was a job. So, but I'm not a quitter. You know, mom ain't
Yeah.
raised no quitter, granny ain't raised no quitter. So I said, I'm gonna stick to it. I can't go home. I'm not going home. You know,
Right.
there's no transfer portal for me. You know,
Right.
so this is my school. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna do what I have to do.
Who was the biggest influences growing up? Who did you play for?
Who did I play for? Obviously, I played for my family.
Right.
You know, play
Yeah.
for your family. I want to set that example. I'm the oldest of 5, so you want to set that example for my, you know, my brothers and sisters. But I always spoke things into existence. You know, my granny told me earlier, in our life, and you know, I was younger, and this one I was watching David Letterman. You know, David
Yeah.
Letterman was on. And I told her, like, you know, Granny, I'm gonna buy you a house. I'm gonna go into the NFL and I'm gonna buy you a house. And she was like, you know, yeah, that'll be a good try,
Yes.
you know. But I was like, no, seriously, I'm gonna do that. And then it's just something about me, you know, I was definitely God-given abilities, God-given height, you know, size. But let's be honest, there's so many guys we've seen 6'6"
many.
and not go
Yeah.
that far. So for me, it was just about making the right decisions, having integrity, you know, doing things while nobody's watching, you know, doing the right things while nobody's watching, and making the right decisions.
That's the thing. Like, so many you might think to yourself, "Hey, I might not be the most physically talented. I might not be but you're gonna stay on the right path, learn the playbook, follow coaching, et cetera, et cetera." But some people just kind of fall off and they just can't do right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What is that the difference between playing at Chavez and going to the NFL, or playing at Chavez or playing at the Woodlands or wherever, and just, you know, kind of being a guy?
Yeah, I mean, you got to make the most of your opportunities.
That's it.
You know, so many guys, you know, you get that op, and it's like, you know, I've made it. You know, I'm here. You know, and you get comfortable being in that space where you don't realize, like, I have something greater to do. You know, so me being comfortable at LSU, not going to class or doing things like that.
Right.
That wasn't my job. My job was to go to college, get through college, and go to the NFL. When I got to college, that's when I started to realize, like, oh, this is serious.
Real.
I started to see guys from, you know, that were in front of me go to the league, get picked first round, whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is my dream. I'm so close. Why would I mess up now? I'm so close to my dream. You know, why would I mess up now?
You had a locker room full of dudes.
Yes.
I mean, receivers, offensive line, defensive line. It just seems like it's an intense, like college locker rooms and summer workouts. It seems like it's a very competitive, intense nest of people.
If you have the right set of guys, it
Yeah.
should be. It should be. It should be competitive. It should be intense, because if you don't, they're not pushing each other.
Right.
You know, I feel like that's what we did at LSU, was like groups, you know, D-line, safeties, whatever. We pushed each other to be great, you know. It wasn't any slacking. Like, we weren't going to let you slack if you're on the D-line. You on the D-line, you got to pick your play up, you know, type of deal.
Who was the biggest dog on that team?
Biggest dog on that team.
And maybe even on it, like it could have been in y'all's position group.
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest with you. A guy, I mean, this is cliche, we all know him, but the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, the way he went after the ball, just the plays he made, just the knack for the ball. You know, I never seen anybody like that. Especially that year we played, when we went to championship, played Bama twice, and just seeing all the amazing things he did throughout that year, I was like, this is one of the best players I've ever played with. You know,
He was a freak.
he was a freak. You
Total
know,
freak. And he's not like a physical freak.
no, that's
he's just,
what.
He's just so like a magnet to the ball,
Mm-hmm.
just super electric player.
Yes, yes.
What advice would you give yourself
Mm-hmm.
looking back and say you were still in high school? What advice
Mm-hmm.
would you give yourself? Or just a kid coming out of high school getting ready to go to college?
Mm-hmm.
It's a different game now.
Yeah, you have to give yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace because if you're the man at your school and you're expecting to be the man at Georgia or LSU
Right.
or Alabama, it's gonna be you gonna be open to a rude awakening because you're just a guy now. You know, you go from high school being a 5-star, 4-star, whatever newspapers talking about you all the time. Now you're on a team with there's 45 stars. You know, so how are you going to set yourself apart? How are you going to be the guy that they want to trust to get on the field and put yourself on the field? It's not all about talent. You have to have it up here too.
Is it relationships with the assistant coaches or your
Mm-hmm.
like where do you build from? Is it the room? Is it your assistant coach? Is it the head coach? Probably because you don't ever see you might never talk to that guy that much.
I think ours was built off, the foundation with the D-line coach. We had Brick Haley as our D-line coach, and he coached, in the NFL and coached, a lot of tremendous players. So I think he set the tone of the room, and I think us buying into that, everybody was on the same page,
So then you play a couple of years there because you were in and out of LSU, man.
In and out. In and out. That's why people are like, you played at LSU? I was like, man, I only did 3 years.
Well, yeah,
early.
and then away you went. When your name gets called in the first round, what is that? I mean, I could feel that seems like that would be a very emotional time.
It's crazy. It's surreal. It's surreal.
It gotta be.
I had to live in it where I had to almost take myself away from it being how big it was. I remember, I think I was watching The Gladiator. I was watching The Gladiator on my pad because I was just like, this isn't real. Like, there's names going to be called. Like, people are going. I don't know really where I'm going to go.
Right.
They invited me here, but I don't know if I'm going in the first round.
So where are you sitting? Are you sitting in the green room with who is there?
Sitting in the green room, had my grandmother, R.I.P. to Granny, my mom, agent, and just my family. My close knit family. Mm-hmm.
So then, when your name's called, it's like you feel like the blood just runs out of your body. You're like, oh my gosh, what was that? What was that moment like? And you're getting ready to walk up on stage, and that happens.
It felt like I wasn't there. I was just going through the motions. It just felt like I was on cloud nine, and they were like, my agent's like, pick up the phone, answer it, and I'm talking to them, Jeff Fisher, we're gonna pick you with the next pick or whatever, and I'm like, oh, for real, Then they're like, okay, you're getting picked, you got to get your hat, get up, go here, go. So you're moving.
They're keeping you busy. Your mind's
you're
just like a robot.
You can't even think about where you're at. Then the next morning, because your team wants to see you, they want to see what they just bought,
Right.
So they're like, okay, let's fly you out early as we can get you. Let's go straight to St. Louis. Let's meet the coaches, meet the team, So you didn't even have time to really look back at, your day or you getting drafted because it was so fast. You doing all these interviews. It was a lot.
The hard work, like what is it? 0.1% of the amount of people have that experience. But the hard work that you put into it, it all paid off.
Yes, yes.
All of it. It's just like, oh my gosh, the washing the uniforms to the, going to camps and combines and trying to get recruited and having a big senior year, then to go into college, it seems like it would be like those little books you get and you just flip it and it
goes
happens
really
like that.
fast. Yes, yes.
And then you're like, holy crap,
right.
I'm in the NFL.
Yes, exactly like that.
When did it sink in?
When did it sink in? I don't know. I mean, I think I'm cherishing my career and just my history and just everything more now.
Yeah,
because I I see how fast it went,
Right.
you know. And then, you know, I remember listening to guys who were older than me. They're retired, and they're like, "Man, you better do this because it's gonna happen fast." And I'm like, "Yeah, right," because, you know, I'm playing football
you're
all
in it.
year and
You're
I'm
in
in it, you know. Then you get done, and it's like, "Geez, that happened fast."
Yes.
Like, I went from a rookie to 7 years to oldest guy in the room to the OG and old man, and I was 32 years old.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
so
like,
yes.
holy crap, that just happened so fast. But how? So, okay, so then you get to St. Louis. St. Louis, was it a great fit for you?
It was a great fit for me because I feel like I was a real energy guy.
Yeah.
I love to be myself around the building, things like that. And I think that team, you know, graced me with open arms. You
Right.
know, Jeff Fisher, he was a player's coach. They had a lot of players, you know, Chris Long, a lot of guys who were older than me who showed me the ropes, and, you know, wasn't a lot of rookie hazing. Like, I did get, you know, hazed. They poured
Right.
some stuff in my car, but nothing crazy where it wasn't, you know, it was uncomfortable. Like,
Right.
I enjoyed my time with those teams.
So then you start getting good, or like you're like, when is the moment you're like, hey, I belong here. I am here, and I'm going to be, you know, a starter for many years.
Yeah, so my rookie year definitely was like, okay, you're in the NFL and you're just a guy. You know, you're not, you know, this tremendous, you know.
Right.
So I had to kind of
You're not Michael Brockers yet.
You know, wasn't. I was rookie.
Yeah.
I was rookie, you know. So then my second year, I'm getting on. So I'll say around 3 or 4 is where you start to feel comfortable. You've seen a lot of the teams. You've seen a lot of the offensive linemen, you know. So you're not really scared of, like, it's really the how quick the game is, how fast. Because when I first got in there, how fast guys were moving left and right, it just was like, you know, things were going past you so fast. You know, it was messing with your eyes. But when I learned to slow down, learned the game a little bit more, learn, you know, what my job was, how do I, you know, execute my job, and then focus on making plays. You know, once I found that happy medium, that's when I felt like I was comfortable.
Who are you playing next to?
At that time?
Yeah.
Aaron Donald, you know, I'm playing, you know, next to the greatest D lineman that ever played the game. One of the greatest D linemen ever played in the game. So, yes, playing next to him really made me better.
So what did you learn from him?
The work ethic, watching film, you know, taking no days off. You know, he's a guy who, you know, you'll learn in NFL. A lot of guys get in the off season and a lot of guys don't want to do nothing.
Right.
You know, I called him one time, and it was like 3 weeks after the season, after Super Bowl, actually.
Yeah.
We lose to the Patriots, and I called him like 3 weeks after Super Bowl, like, man, just, hey, how are you feeling, man? He's like, bro, I'm working out. I'm like, what? Like, we just played a game, you know, like, he's like, no, I'm working out, like, I'm back at it. And that kind of showed me, like, okay, if the greatest defensive tackle to play the game is working out early in the offseason, what does that make me, you know?
That dude, again, he was so talented, but he wasn't a massive, super tall guy. But, man, I don't know. It's leverage. I don't know what it is that made him special. But then if you leave him, then now you're playing with other guys, and now you're that guy.
Right.
Now you're the guy that sets the example.
Yes.
What was that feeling like when you went to your next stop and you were that guy?
So it was crazy because, you know, I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in things just happen. I believe everything happens for a reason. So me going to Detroit was a crazy situation. I was actually celebrating my wife's birthday. We're in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my agent's calling me about deals. You know, he's, hey, the Rams are this, that, you know, and I'm listening. I'm like, okay, playing the fences. But I'm also celebrating my wife's birthday in the Bahamas. So, you know, after a while, I was just like, okay, I think Detroit would be a better fit. You know, they feel like they're going to pay me more. I'm 10 years in. Like, I chase the bag. Don't add to a lot of the young guys that's playing in the NFL right now. If you want, because it turns you into a business. You know, the NFL turns you into a business. So if you are, you know, betting on yourself a lot, you're going to get that compensation, but you might not be in the best situation. So sometimes you got to play, you know, what weighs more? Like, do you give a little bit to the team, you know, and you make a little less, but you're still on the team that you're comfortable with, or do you maximize?
After 10 years, you ready to get that money.
After 10 years, you're like, man, I'm not going to see this no more. You
Right.
know, you're like, I'm not going to see this no more. They're going to put me in the spectrum, so I'm going to be done. So I go to Detroit, and literally, with Coach Campbell and those guys, they were like, man, we just want you to be you.
Yeah.
We want you to lead. We want you to show these, younger guys how to work. And I felt like that was really my purpose. My purpose was to show these guys like what a professional was. Show them like, hey, you can watch film at home. You don't have to just watch film at, the facility and things like that. And we can talk about things outside of coach. We can meet together without coach and talk about things. So I think it was, purposeful for me to show the younger guys, on that Detroit team, like what a professional really was.
Dude, Detroit is balling.
I'm balling. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan now, so I can be a fan of so many teams.
You were with Campbell, right when he got started, which I kind of was a little bit, they took a chance on him a little bit.
Right.
What did you see? Hey, this guy's going to be really good.
I seen how passionate he was to us and, what he was willing to do with us as far as like, we're doing up downs. We're doing, different lifts and, running and things. And he's doing it with us, So for me, I was like, man, I could respect that. I can respect a man that puts in the work. He doesn't just say, hey, guys, go out there and run.
Yeah.
He says, okay, if you guys have to run,
let's go run.
Let's go run.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear no shit about, somebody having to run, somebody's tired. I'm out here old and running, So you see a guy put that work in and show his team like he's willing to, be there with his team and, be there through the turmoil, because we didn't have really good years while I was at Detroit.
Yeah.
Our second year was a little better.
Yeah.
We turned it around, but our first year, for him to ride for us like he did and, he didn't really turn, a blind eye or say it was a team. And he really was like, hey, it's on me, it's on us. We win and we lose together.
It's an amazing story. But what is Detroit like? In my mind, I'm thinking 8 Mile.
Yes.
I'm thinking, oh gosh, what's his name? Eminem movie.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Right.
But it can't be that bad.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. And to be honest with you, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I've never been to Detroit, so I was like, oh my gosh, Detroit. It's not gonna be. But I played in St. Louis, so when I got to Detroit, it kind of reminded me of Midwest, the St. Louis being. So I was like, okay, this is not bad. I've done this before. But it was just the shock of going from L.A. to Detroit. But then I started to realize, man, if you look around, Detroit isn't like a broke down city.
It's
like
not.
People there's money here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on here that that you can be excited about. So for me, it turned out to be a good deal.
What was LA like? And y'all go to the Super Bowl.
We go to the Super Bowl.
That was, and I'm not sure LA even likes football.
Right.
Like, I know they don't like high school football, and I don't think they really like college football. But did they get around pro football? Because y'all just moved.
LA is, if you're winning, they're for you.
They're in it.
If you're not winning, they're like, all right, next team. Because they have so many teams. They have 2 baseball teams, 2 football teams now. How many basketball teams? 2 basketballs at that time. The Clippers and the Lakers.
Yep.
So if they don't feel like going to a football game, they'll just go to a Laker game. Or they don't or a Dodgers game. So it's not like you're not the only thing in town. They making movies
out there, celebs out there.
Oh yeah, it's your eyes and distractions. They're everywhere.
What is the weirdest? I can see you like lining up, and I'd be looking over. You're like, there's Kim Kardashian, or there's
somebody on the sideline.
Who is kind of the most out of place person you're thinking, what the hell are they doing here?
I don't know. When they bring like actors, actors, somebody on. Like I remember seeing LeBron one time. That was kind of a shock. But like seeing actors that you don't really know, and they're like, oh yeah, so and so from Friends is here, and I'm like, oh yeah,
that's awesome. Because you were probably out of Detroit before they had, or were you there when they had Hard Knocks?
Yes, you
were there.
I was there.
What was the Hard Knocks on HBO like?
I've done Hard Knocks 3 times. So I've done Hard Knocks twice with the Rams and then once with Detroit. And it's distractions, They're following you all over the place. they're they're miking up different people, so you
Right.
have to be worried of like who's mic'd up, like who can you not talk around, things like that. But it's a big distraction. But it's good to see. It was good for me that they seen how Dan Campbell was, like
Yeah.
who he is on Hard Knocks is who he is all the time. So it was good for the world to see who he is.
But it's kind of cool for you because you get to see how big productions are made, like NFL films. It is. I mean, it's a ton of people working on set. It's like a damn movie.
No, it is. It is. I'm gonna tell you, being a fan now,
Yeah.
and seeing how much production goes into the NFL,
I love
it's
it.
crazy. It's crazy because I'm thinking about I know what the players are going through before the game starts. I'm like, okay, you get to the stadium, you're warming up, you go out, stretch, you go back in, get your equipment on, and you go back out for a little practice. But the whole time I'm watching the game, they're showing this, they're showing that, they're showing stats, they're, everything is, Peyton Manning and, Eli are doing their thing.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, bro, like the production to make the game more than what it is crazy.
That's a great point because you're right. It is just a football game,
Right.
And but it is a billion dollar business. Best offensive lineman you played against?
Best offensive lineman I have played against. Man, I played against a lot. Trent Williams, Zach Martin,
Yeah.
like those guys. Tyron Smith, like those are guys you got to show up to work and you like, okay, I got to bring my lunch pail and my hard hat today.
Who's the hardest running back or quarterback to run down?
At a time, like, I never could get Russell. Like,
Yeah.
AD went in, he got Russell like 9 times off rip. I'm like, he's so elusive. He goes forward, he steps back, he runs around, and I end up getting him like, I think I was like 8 years in. I got my first sack on Russell. And I was like, thank you.
Now looking at the league now, I mean, that doesn't seem like it's changed that much. It does seem like, players get protected a little bit more, which is kind of a good thing, maybe. The college game has changed immensely, dude.
I love it. I can't tell you how happy I am that every Saturday I show up, I don't know who's going to win the game. I don't know. You remember back in the day, like 10 years, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
whatever, Alabama,
They win every time.
you knew who was going to win the game.
Yes.
You knew who was you looked up, you turned on, you like, Alabama versus whoever, they're going to win. Now I wake up, you don't know who's going to SEC football. It's like NFL now. Like I didn't like college football for a long time based on that. No technique. The good teams are blowing out the bad teams.
Yeah.
Now I'm tuned in every Saturday.
Dude, that's so funny you say that because I was just thinking every weekend is somebody's bringing down goalposts.
Yes.
I don't know where it could be in Utah. It could be at Ole Miss. I don't know where it's going to be.
Yes.
But we need to start buying stock in field goals because they're just bam coming down. I'm like, man, it's wild. What do you love about the NIL piece? You love it?
I love
Is it dangerous?
It's a little bit of opening Pandora's box, where it's like, yes, I do think the players deserve to be paid for the image and likeness. But do I think a 18-year-old needs millions without financial, financial literacy or anything like that? Like an 18-year-old with millions of dollars,
get it.
and you're trying to coach an 18-year-old with millions of dollars
That knows nothing about the IRS.
Nothing about
like,
really.
holy cow,
nothing about really life and
I gotta
paying
pay
bills.
taxes?
Yes, and
Yeah.
you give this to this kid and you try to coach him, and then he tells you, you don't make as much as me. So how can
Right.
you tell me to do anything? Or I'm like, so I think it's a little bit of, like I said, it's like opening Pandora's box. You don't know it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But you don't know what you're gonna get.
We're in it now. So it's
Yes.
the genie is out of the bottle.
Yes.
I'm not a big, I guess I get the portal and, gives kids a lot of great opportunities. But, to be a college coach now, how freaking hard that would be. Because you don't know, you have a free agency every year.
Yeah, you might as well be an NFL coach because you're just getting whatever they recruit and they can pick up, and you got to make the best out of it.
Did we ever buy Granny's house?
We never bought Granny house. I think her house was already paid for.
Yeah,
No, her house was already paid for. But it was something as a kid.
Yeah, you thinking? Yeah.
But because now my son tells me, "Oh yeah, I'm going to the NFL." And I'm like, yeah, right. Get out of here, dude. Go and play.
Right.
But to think like, okay, I spoke that into existence.
That is
and she's
crazy.
seen that.
That's crazy.
Me grow up and do that. That's amazing.
I mean, now, because you're out of the, you're retired.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a weird transition?
It is. It is like for the first. It stuck with me for like the first month and a half.
Yeah.
Because it was like, what am I gonna do now? And just when somebody tells you, hey man, you've been a great, to the team, but we want to go in another direction.
Right.
It's still tough. It's still tough
sure.
to take. But what helped me was I was in a little funk, and I ended up getting a tryout with the Texans. Oh, not Texans, the Titans.
Yeah.
So I go to the tryout. I didn't really want to, but I go to the tryout because I'm like, man, the first rounder. I started my whole career.
Right.
Like, why do I have to reprove myself? But this is the NFL. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So I went out there and I had a good showing. And the coach was like, man, you don't look, 11 years, 12 years in the league to me. And I think that was enough for me.
Yeah.
Just to have somebody else differently than the team I left tell me, hey, you
can still
good.
play.
You can still play.
You can still play here.
That's what I needed. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want to play. I just wanted to know that I was still able to play.
That's actually a good point. What would you ever get to coaching? Would you ever get into like scouting or getting back? I mean, you don't live in Detroit or LA, but would you ever get back in some form or fashion into the NFL?
I think I will. I was reluctant to it for a long time because I knew how much, especially when you realize like how much coaches put into the game. They put in more time than the players. They put in more time than the players because they have to set up the X's and O's and be on top of all the situations and things like that. And I know what it takes to be good, be a good coach. And I think it would take me out of the house too much. And I have 4 little ones. So for me, I'm like, let me get my kids to an age where I feel like I've laid the right foundation, set a good foundation for them, and then I'll take on coaching.
Hey, Texans, you'd be the high school ambassador for the Houston Texans. Bam.
Bro, I would love it.
Done.
I would love it. I would love it.
I see Earl Mitchell. He played at North Shore, then went to Arizona and played for the Texans for a while, played D tackle. And he does some stuff, very soft-spoken guy, very soft-spoken guy. He's, stays involved in the NFL. He likes it, but it's like, it's a big family, dude. Like if you play the NFL, just the relationships you've probably built over the years with coaches, players, whatever it might be, regular people like us, we don't see the back end of the relationship business that it really is. Talking with Russell Shepard, he said that, McGahee, who knew him when he was a baby, ends up having him on his team 20 years later as a return specialist or something like that. So what do you feel like kids should start thinking, hey, build your network? How would kids build their network, or how important is that?
It's very important. I was just talking, one of my good buddies, coaches at Cy Falls, and I was just telling his team that you have to focus on your network because now being retired, I see how important having a network is. It's not because your network is your net worth, and I don't know who said that first, not me, but it's very important, because it's a struggle for me now. It was a struggle for me to go outside and, network and talk to people and approach people because I'm so used to, hey, can I take your picture? Can I take your picture? Could you sign this? So I'm not used to going out of my way to talk to somebody. Hey, how are you? Hey, what do you do for, it was a big transition for me being, networking with other people. And I feel like that's because I was so focused.
Yeah.
I had my blinders on, football. And I didn't give myself enough time, enough grace to sit down and talk to other people and, be in other social groups and things like that.
Right.
Like I was like, I'm determined to get to the NFL. You
Yeah.
know, so I say to all the kids out there, younger men, man, put yourself out there. Put yourself out in other social events. Make yourself uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
And you'll make it.
And social media platforms are huge now. Like it sounds corny, like, oh yeah, I don't want to post, but man, it can really expand your platform also through the world of social media.
Right.
I mean, damn.
Right.
Like you're doing a podcast and you're probably big on social media also. It's got value as well. All right, talk about these kids, man.
Man.
What are we doing? What are we doing? How old are we?
Being dad, man, I have a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, 5-year-old, and 2. So yeah, we're busy. We're busy. We're busy, and I love it.
It is fun. It's so fun.
It's fun. It's just like, you want to make sure you're building and you're making the best human possible.
Yes.
You want to make sure that they're they can do decision making. They can handle themselves. Without needing you all the time. But you want to be protective enough to show them like, hey, Dad, I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you about that. So it's kind of like you gotta, like I say, play the happy medium.
What's the biggest challenge?
Being a father?
4 kids, dude. I have 3 kids. I'm like, there ain't no way I'm having any more kids.
What's the biggest struggle? I just think, knowing that eventually they'll, use everything I taught them and go into this world, and I hope I gave them enough.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest struggle, is like knowing, like, man, did I teach them enough? Did I coach them enough?
Yeah.
Are they learning? Like, I think that's the biggest struggle at being a father.
There's going to come a time, being an old parent, that they're going to be like, dude, I got this, Dad. I got this. It is coming way faster than you think. You're going to try, especially if you have girls, if you try and roll up on them, giving them some advice at like 15, they're like, no. I got it.
And you're like,
I'm like, what? I'm a vast wealth of knowledge you need to know about.
Right.
I could give you so much great information. They don't want to listen now.
Yeah.
So do you see it? What if they're like, hey man, I want to be in sports. What would you like, hey, all right, let's go do this. Are you excited for that? Or are you like, hey, let's pump the brakes?
I'm a little, like I say, you have to have that, like, that happy place, because I don't want to be super excited where I'm working him, we're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning working out, you're 5 years old, we're doing push-ups and, like, no, I don't want to do that, because you're not going to go to the league tomorrow, so I want you to be a kid. I want you to have fun. If you want to do things outside, you want to play football, there's going to be some practice to it, and we're going to have some focus on, making sure we complete the job. But I'm not going to be out here, hey, we got to do chrome drills and this and that. And there may be some dads that's out there doing that.
Oh, there's a million dads.
There's a million dads.
A million.
But, for me, I know I've been there.
That's the thing.
I've been to the top of the mountain. So I know how hard it is to get there. So to stress yourself out, and to be, because I've seen guys who are tremendous athletes,
right,
don't make it.
Yeah,
so
you're
it's
right.
Like, why work yourself to death to try to get to this, this dream, and you don't know, this game is it'll take a lot from you. So you just gotta, like I say, give yourself grace, give your kids grace. Be patient with them; they'll be fine. What
was the biggest thing you had to overcome as a kid? Even like when you're a little, like. And you're like, man, that kind of forged me into who I am today. Anything in particular?
Anything in particular? I cherish myself to be like, to do the right things. And I know it's cliche. Have integrity. Like, I just remember it was so many times I traveled on public transportation, the metro. And I seen so many guys, go do what they weren't supposed to do,
right.
And then I'm going to my voluntary workout. So I'm going straight to wherever I'm supposed to go, so it's like, I had the opportunities to F off, or I had the opportunities to mess this thing up.
Yeah.
And I chose not to, and I chose because I knew there was a moment that I had, and it was, I was with one of my friends, and he gave me an opportunity to do something that I wasn't supposed to do, and I said no. And I look back at my career at that time when I said no, and I was like, dang, that might have been the moment that changed my whole life, because it was, nobody was there, no parent, no nothing. But I could have said, oh man, I'm a follower, yeah, sure. But me knowing like what my mission was, what I was supposed to do, what I wanted to do, I was like, nah, man, I'm good, man. So me looking at that good choice.
Yeah.
And I go to the NFL, so it's just like, I think it's just based off good decisions, man. Having integrity, knowing the right thing. Everybody knows the right thing to do.
It's a great point.
But the bad thing feels so good to do, So it's like the good, the right thing doesn't always feel good to do. So yeah, that's our struggles as humans.
That is a great point. Playing in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
What was that like, dude? Was it just, with the week coming up to it,
Man.
or just getting to the Super Bowl, is it more fun to get? People say the journey is more fun than the actual being there.
I'll say yeah. The journey is way more fun. Being there is tremendous because like when you're playing in this game, nobody else is watching anything else but
Nothing.
you. Nothing else but you. So playing in this game, you're like, man, I really have the whole world watching me. So but leading up to the game, remembering the bus trips and away games and, chilling with the fellas, going out to eat before the game, things like that. That's the things I cherish the most from, those years playing. Mm-hmm.
So, when did you meet your wife?
High school.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. How much of a rock has she been all the way through? That's a big deal.
I think that helped me ground myself because I could never get to this point where I felt like, oh, you're the man, you this, you that.
Right.
Like, because I had my woman who's been with me before I had any of this.
Right.
Right. So, and she remembers times where I had nothing.
Yeah.
And she was looking out for me.
Yeah.
So to have a wife that knows you before the fame and knows you, before anybody starts to praise you, I think that helped, ground me a lot.
It's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be like one of the main reasons of your path to success and doing right.
Exactly. Because, I think to myself, like, man, I do not want to get to the league and not have a wife because I know there's so many distractions.
Yeah.
I know there's so many things. So I wanted to be grounded and know what I had at home so I wouldn't be, distracted by the world.
Best place to go play being an opponent.
Vikings.
That was quick. Vikings.
I love that place. I love.
They get that clap going.
They get
hot.
the skull.
Yes.
They got the little horn blaring.
Yeah.
It's little white stuff coming from the ceiling. I'm like, is this snow? Like I'm waving. I'm like, what is this? So yes, I love playing in Minnesota.
Well, so you got that, but I'm like. The NFL game, there's probably other NFL stadiums you're like, dude, this is no vibe in here. Mm-hmm. You're in an SEC stadium, it's wild. Favorite place to play in college?
In college. Obviously, come on, Baton Rouge, man. Death Valley, bro.
Right.
Come on.
Wild.
As an opponent, I like playing in Alabama. Hearing that Roll Tide roll and the whole 100,000 fans sing. Oh, that was experience.
The movie The Gladiator is coming out. Gladiator 2.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm telling you, if that is not a parallel to what football is,
yes.
Because I'm on the sideline a lot, and I'm just like, and you just have a chance to look around, and there's tens of thousands of people just losing their damn mind, dude, and you're right in the battle of it. It sounds corny, but it seems like that is the ultimate. That would be the ultimate. Prize fight in an NFL game or a college game, just with all of Taylor Swift is one thing.
Yes, yeah.
But nobody cares about Taylor Swift music. I'm talking about the battle.
Don't say that to the NFL. They might fine you.
But the battle on the gridiron is just like it goes back 2,000 years. It seems like.
Yes, I mean because I visited Rome and seeing the stadium in Rome.
Yes, I was there too.
Just like, this reminds me of football field. Like, this is crazy. And to think, we're just gladiators, modern gladiators now. We're just modern gladiators. That's all we are.
It's wild.
Yes.
But, man, it's just, your journey's amazing. And it's just so fun to kind of watch it and oh, my gosh, man. I remember we were doing stories on him when he was in high school. And now, boom, he's in the NFL for 10 years. And he's like, I'm old, man. I'm like, he's 33.
Right?
He's 33 years old.
Playing so much football, man.
What hurts the most?
Shoulders. My shoulders. Like my shoulders are banging. It's hard to sleep sometimes. So
yeah.
But that's a part of it. That's
Right.
why I signed up to play this game. I didn't think about I was gonna get hurt. I knew I was.
You
gonna
know,
get
you
hurt,
knew.
So.
But yeah, it's like it. It seems like the CTE part was a big deal, but it does. I do see a lot of NFL players in what's in they're just in pain. Like after the game, like the game's over, but the pain ain't over.
Right.
And it's
funny
it's
you
a lot
say
to
that.
it's a lot to deal with, and people don't even think about it.
They don't even think about it. But when you're watching the game, I watch the game with a different lens.
Oh,
so
totally.
like I'm watching it, and then I see somebody go down, and they like limp off to the sideline, and I see the trainer next to him pop something in their hand, and I'm like, oh yeah, he'll be back.
Yes,
he'll be back real soon.
He'll be back.
All of a sudden, you see Mixon, he's running. I'm like, oh yeah, here's the juice now.
But I'm telling you, man, the contact is insane.
Yes. It's not the contact. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's the ground. The ground is undefeated. It's undefeated. It's infinity, That's what I say.
Dude.
Because you land on that ground, the ground doesn't budge. The ground doesn't go,
Yes.
The ground sits right there and doesn't move.
And you're thinking that turf, and like turf burns, stuff like that. Like it looks so like, oh, that field is so nice. It ain't. It's unforgiving.
Under that grass, that inch of fake grass, there's concrete under it.
All right, Matt with VYPE. Michael Brocker is one of the best
sir.
all-timers. He's a VYPE Hall of Famer as well, as you know. Yes.
VYPE Hall of Fame.
That's
man.
right. What else can you ask for? All right, this is Matt with VYPE. We'll see y'all at the games.